everyone, my name is Niki Kennedy, and I just want to say a huge thank you to 96.9 Radio Humber for having me on. I am joining you from my home studio, which is in the unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations, also known as Vancouver, BC. Tonight, I thought I would share with you a stripped-back set of original tunes, and I thought I'd share a little bit of the context and the stories behind some of the songs. So if you like what you hear, I do have songs on all your favorite streaming platforms, and you can always connect with me on social media as well at Niki Kennedy CA. The first song I'd like to start with tonight is called Caught Between Fine and Really Not. And I wrote this in the early months of the pandemic, and it still resonates with me, so I hope you can connect with it too. Just a little caught somewhere between fine and really not, trying to be grateful for everything I've got, but I'm just so damn tired and I don't know how to stop. So where am I going? Where should I go? Why don't I recognize myself anymore? How do I leave this all behind me? How am I to give it all I've got? How do I stop this heart from breaking when I'm caught between fine and really not? Caught between fine and really not. Waiting and wishing as if looking for peace. Writing about things that don't make sense to me. Rifling through old notes in search of poetry, or at least a little break from reality. So where am I going? Where should I go? Why don't I recognize myself anymore? How do I leave this all behind me? How am I to give it all I got? How do I stop this heart from breaking when I'm caught between fine and really not? How do I leave this all behind me? How am I to give it all I've got? How do I stop this heart from breaking when I'm caught between fine and really not? Caught between fine and really not. Caught between fine and really not. Alright, so that's a song I wrote called Caught Between Fine and Really Not. That's just a demo right now, but as I was writing that song, I was also writing another song called The Last Night Dancing With You. And while these songs were written simultaneously, their approach and their intent was very, very different. Caught Between Fine and Really Not was me really leaning into the sucker for the sad feeling and like just really letting myself feel all of the things as we were sort of trying to navigate or figure out how to navigate the new industry and the new world, if it were. And this song was me getting to a point where I had to say, you know what? I got to try and make myself feel better So let's turn it around. If it really is the last night of the world, if the world's ending, we'll just take it to the extremes. If the world's ending, if it's the last night, then how would I choose to spend it? And it's kind of the whole basis for the song is like my answer to that question. And I think beyond the pandemic, I think it's a really good reminder that life is short and how we spend our moments and who we spend our moments with is really important. So food for thought if you want to think on that. If it were the last night, how would you choose to spend it? My answer was dancing around the living room with those that I love. So this is a super stripped back version of this song, but it's out there in the universe if you want to check it out. This is The Last Night, Dancing With You.
The people say, not so sure of the outcome, we could only pray. We'll be one of the ones to survive it. What we will love, we love, we love, we love, we do. We love, we love, we love, and new. If it's the last night, don't know if we'll see morning. Wouldn't feel right if it's not your hand and holding close to me tight. Even if the world was ending, if it's the last night, I wanna spend it dancing with you. I wanna spend it dancing with you. What would you say? Told you we'd make some mistakes. As we put our past behind us, we'll be beyond blame. Closer to the likeness, would we? We love, 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 we love, love, we do. We love, 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 new. If it's the last night, don't know if we'll see morning. Wouldn't feel it's not your hand, I'm holding close to me tight. Even if the world was ending, if it's the last night, I wanna spend it dancing with you. I wanna spend it dancing with you. If it's the last night, don't know if I'll see morning. Wouldn't feel right if it's not your hand I'm holding close to me tight. If the world is ending, if it's the last night, I wanna spend it dancing with you. I wanna spend it dancing with you. Wanna spend it, wanna spend it, yeah. Oh, I wanna spend it dancing with you.
Alright, so that was The Last Night, Dancing With You. So that came out in March of 2021, but I wrote it in 2020. And this next song I wrote in January of 2021, and it just came out on January 21st, 2022. So this was my way of kind of kicking off the year with some feel-good vibes. And I wrote this song when I was just feeling stuck and like in a total funk. And like always, I turned to music to try and make myself feel better. And I decided to think about all of the music that naturally gets me feeling good. And for me, I grew up with a lot of disco and R&B and 80s and 90s pop. So that kind of sound, that nostalgia, always just picks me up in a way that other music doesn't. And I think that's something that's always really special about the music that you grow up with, is that it's connected to feelings that are so innate. And I wanted to try and recreate that feeling for myself. So I'm going to play a stripped back version, but the full version's very upbeat and funky. And if you like that sort of 80s inspired pop, I would love for you to check it out. But what you'll hear with the stripped back version is, I think, the lyrics a little bit clearer. And while the music was intended to give me and hopefully you a bit of a boost, the thing about the lyrics was it was intended to serve as like a gentle reminder that we need to give ourselves a little grace and give ourselves a bit of a break, because there is no magic reset button on New Year's Day. There is no like, okay, and now I'm just fine when you're not. It's totally okay to not be okay. And sometimes just doing the best we can is more than enough. And I just wanted the lyrics to reflect that. So even though the music is supposed to be empowering and like, yeah, let's do this, like let's vacuum the house kind of energy, I wanted that contrast, the juxtaposition of the lyrics and the music to work in tandem to say, hey, like it's been a really hard couple of years and it's okay if you're feeling that. And hopefully this makes you feel good. But it's okay. It'll be okay. And it's okay not to be okay. All that being said, this is a super stripped back version of Get Back in the Groove.
I got a feeling I'm circling around in slow motion, like I'm trying to collect all the pieces of broken. And money I stuck sometimes, just gonna let go while I'm holding, to keep me moving ahead on the path that I've chosen.
1, 2, 3, come on.
It's gonna take some time for me to work it through. It's gonna take some time for me to get over you. It's gonna take some time for me to make a move. It's gonna take some time to get back in the groove. I got a feeling I may be a fish out of water. You see, it's just that I've never been much of a talker. Yeah, I've managed trips sometimes, just constant talking on my power. And sometimes maybe it ain't worth the time or the drama.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
It's gonna take some time for me to work it through. It's gonna take some time for me to get over you. It's gonna take some time for me to make a move. It's gonna take some time to get back in the groove. I got a feeling I'm circling around in slow motion, like I'm trying to collect all the pieces of broken. It's gonna take some time for me to work it through. It's gonna take some time for me to get over you. It's gonna take some time for me to make a move. It's gonna take some time to get back in the groove.
right, so that's a song I wrote called Get Back in the Groove. If you are a fan of like 80s pop sensibilities and like funky bass lines and disco beats, then I highly recommend you check that out on your favorite streaming platform because it sounds very different from the acoustic version. The next song I'd like to share with you is a song I wrote called Fall Back Into You. And this came out in August of 2021, last year. And this song is about when we fall back into the things we know, the things that may feel comfortable or may appear safe, even though they might not necessarily be the best things for us. So I hope you enjoy this song. This is Fall Back Into You.
Why don't you say what's on your mind? Just give me one little sign. Maybe it all makes sense this time. You can't say we're doing fine when it feels like you're full steam ahead and up, at least 20 steps behind. So breathe with me. If I leave or I try, but I can't say goodbye, will I fall back into you? Fall back into you. If I'm here and I cry, will you sleep by my side? Let me fall back into you. Fall back into you. Let's say enough with a little lies. I'll open myself up and I'll show you every mark of mine. Just breathe with me. If I leave or I try, but I can't say goodbye, will I fall back into you? Fall back into you. If I'm here and I cry, will you sleep by my side? Let me fall back into you. Fall back into you. Back into you. If I leave or I try, but I can't say goodbye, will I fall back into you? Fall back into you. If I'm here and I cry, will you sleep by my side? Let me fall back into you. Fall back into you.
All right, so that was a song I wrote called Fall Back Into You, and that is out there in the universe if you do want to check it out. That song, to me, allowed for some exploration of texture and elements in the sound of it that I hadn't really previously experimented with. And at the time, I was really paying attention, and still am, super inspired by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. And that might come as a surprise to those of you who are familiar with Trent's work, because it couldn't be more different from what I do as a solo artist. But I think we have a lot to learn from other genres, and to be able to look at the conventions and elements of different styles and then be able to say, like, what is it about that I love, or what is it about that makes me feel a certain way, and try and translate that into a different genre. In my case, pop music, I think allows for some space to have a listener recognize, like there's some kind of recognition and like comfort in what they're hearing, but also something new. And I think that's a super beautiful thing about music is there really are no set rules of how to play the game. And I never pay attention to genre. And so to be able to blur as much as possible, even if it's in subtle ways like soundscaping, or in the studio recording of that, there's also like a sort of like 50-person sort of choir, except of course it's all me because I'm an independent artist, and hiring a choir isn't quite on the table at this stage. One day, can't wait. But so to be able to like build the song out in different ways, I think is super cool. And it's something that I love to do, and I can't wait to keep exploring and keep discovering different elements of different genres that can be translated to the kind of music I make. The next song I would like to share with you is actually just a song that I wrote one day out of frustration. I always use songwriting as a way to express myself and my feelings, and this was like one of those tunes that I just wrote in 10 minutes, and like I just was frustrated, and it was the way for me to get over it, basically. And in the last couple of years, I've been actively live streaming, doing virtual concerts, and connecting with people online, which has been incredible. And for some reason, a lot of the viewers and listeners really connect to this song, and it's probably one of my most requested originals at this point. So I thought I'd share it with you tonight, and I think it might be timely. So this song is a reminder that we never know what the people around us are going through. Especially right now, I think it's best to assume that everybody's having a really hard time, and it costs absolutely nothing to be kind. It's free to lead with kindness, but just a little bit of kindness can really make someone's day or turn their day around. Add a little bit of brightness and color and light. And I think to consciously and actively, even though I know it's hard sometimes to really put kindness at the forefront of what we do, I think can go a long way. If the world was just 1% kinder, just think about the kind of place we'd be living in. So I wrote that song with that in mind. So this is I Choose Love, and I hope you enjoy it.
Some may win, some may lose. To have a voice, to get to choose it. Oh, I choose love. Some found faith from up above, looked to skies, but darling, I choose love. I choose love. And my feelings don't know. I choose love. Some can feel from settling in, build our walls from deep within mud. Oh, I choose love. Some look out, some look in, look for wrongs, but darling, I choose love. I choose love. My feelings don't know. I choose love. And I won't run away. I will choose love. Some may win, some may lose. To have a voice, to get to choose it. Oh, I choose love. I choose. I choose love.
All right, that's a song I wrote called I Choose Love. And once again, this is Niki Kennedy, and you are listening to 96.9 Radio Humber. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I thought I'd wrap up the set here with a couple of older tunes that were on my very first EP, which was called The Weather Up Here, and that came out in 2018. Hard to believe it's already been over 3 years. But that first record was pivotal for me because it put me out there as a recording artist, and it housed some really key stories for me. And the reason it's called The Weather Up Here, there isn't a song called that. It's one of those things where the title of the EP is its own thing. But I'm 6'3", so as a female, that's extremely tall. I've spent my entire life being asked, how's the weather there? And I thought, as my first entry out there into the world as a solo artist, and for the first time ever not hiding behind characters or roles, when I previously was working in musical theater or behind cover bands or whatever it was, is putting myself and my own work out there. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to own this piece of me that I've always had a little bit of a challenge with ever since I was a kid. Kids can be mean. Adults can be mean. Everybody can be mean. Remember, lead with kindness. It's so important. But yeah, so I thought I'd finish off with a couple of older tunes, and two that are extremely special to me. The first being a song called I'm Your Girl. And I actually started writing this in 2014. And when it came time to make this record, I was very confident that it needed to be on there. And to date, this is my most streamed song. Hopefully that will change one day with my newer stuff coming out. But as of right now, on all platforms, I think. Maybe not all platforms, but certainly Spotify and YouTube. It's the most listened and most watched. So I hope you like it too. It's a love song that comes from a very happy place, but it gets added to a lot of sad playlists, and I think that's sometimes just the way that I write. I think I make things sound sad when they're not necessarily sad. But I also love that, it's when when you have like upbeat songs that seem really super happy, but then you listen to the lyrics and they're super sad. It's kind of like the opposite with this. This is happy. That might sound sad. But anyway, I hope you like it. This is called I'm Your Girl.
The day pass. I wanna lie hand in hand. I wanna lie with my head in your lap and listen to the music of the bands who came out to play. And you hold me in your arms, love. Together we'll sway. If we got transported back in time, through it all back to the start of the world. Do you think you'd remember this moment right here, and the way I made you feel? remember me? Would you go searching for me? Would you be lost without me? 'Cause I'm your girl. If we got transported back in time, through it all, back to the start of the world, do you think you'd remember this moment right here and the way I made you feel? Would you remember me? Would you go searching for me? Would you be lost without me? 'Cause I'm your girl.
So that's a song called I'm Your Girl. And once again, that is on my debut EP, The Weather Up Here, if you want to check that out. Fun fact about that song is I actually wrote it after a weekend at Riot Fest in Toronto. So once again, I love all different kinds of music and genres of music, and am super inspired, generally speaking, all things music. So those influences show up in very different ways, and I'm definitely leaning into it more in my later stuff, current work. But even back then, it was sneaking in. So the last song I'd like to share with you tonight is also off that debut EP, and this is called Sweet Existence. And this song almost didn't make the record. I was still writing lyrics, or not writing the lyrics, but I guess adjusting them and tweaking them and changing them the day I went in to record my vocals. And I almost chose a different song instead of this one just because it wasn't ready, but there was something about it that I just felt like it had to be on the record, and it's an important one for me. And based on comments from listeners over the last couple of years, it's been important for other people too, and I think that's a really special and beautiful thing. And I'm really glad that I trusted my gut and finished it right in time. It didn't even have a title when we recorded it. It had a working title that obviously got changed, but this song was my way of processing a friend's death, and it acted partly as a sort of catharsis, but it's also probably the song that took me the longest to write. It took me a really long time to try and find the right words and what I wanted to say. And when things happen suddenly and unexpectedly, we don't always have the words. And as somebody who usually turns to music in those moments, it was difficult to not know what to say. So this is what came out of that. And I think it's a nice way to honor my friend and their memory. And I hope that if you're experiencing any grief, loss, pain right now, that it resonates with you and gives you a little bit of comfort. Hope it finds you. This is Sweet Existence.
I don't wanna say I'm sorry. What do we do when here? I don't wanna hold my breath. I don't wanna count to 10. I don't wanna chase the shadows in and out of here. Try not to run. Try not to fall. Try not to slip through. And I wish those days never ended, or seemed to be a careless, sweet existence. seem to be a careless, sweet existence. And I'll bet you found peace in a world that's fair and wild and beautiful and free. I hope you found the colorful sky, a place where only the good people fly, where peace and forgiveness exist all as one, under the same God inside. Try not to run, try not to fall, try not to slip through. One open hand, one open door, one heart to speak to. And I wish those days never ended.
Alright, that's a stripped back version of a song I wrote called Sweet Existence. And that's going to conclude my set here tonight on 96.9 Radio Humber. I'm so grateful, Radio Humber. Thank you so much for having me and for letting me share not only my songs, but also the stories behind them. And I hope if you're listening that some of it resonated with you, and I hope some of it made you feel good. Or if you do want to check out my music, you can find me on all your favorite streaming platforms, as well as all social media. So it's Niki Kennedy, 1K, and IKI, Kennedy on all streaming, and then on social media, it's Niki Kennedy CA. I would love to connect with you. Also, I currently perform 4 virtual shows a week, totally free, 100% requests for the most part. So if you ever want to feel a part of a community, then please come out, join me. Everyone is welcome. Thank you so much. Please take care. Stay safe, stay kind, stay you. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and thank you so much. Once again, I am Niki Kennedy. Thank you, and you're listening to 96.9 Radio Humber.